Welcome, I'm Darren, and I'll be your guide today as I look at the Fleer basketball stickers of the 1970s and, the cards that they made in the 1970s as well, which is not something that you normally think of with Fleer because Fleer is a company that has always been kind of in and out with cards. In the 1960s, they made a couple of sets in baseball and in football and one set in basketball, which I already talked about in the early Topps cards video, where I talked about it there because it's one of the steps leading up to the 1969-70 set where Topps kicked off the kind of the proto-modern cards for basketball. I talked about it there because it fit into the story, and I didn't want to bring it into this card set or into this discussion because really, for Fleer, it had the moment in the 1960s, and then for the most part, it skipped over to the 1980s, and we got baseball, and then we got basketball. So the Fleer story, there's a big gap right in the middle, which is the mid-60s into all the way through the end of the 1970s, where for the most part, there were no sports cards, except there were. I mean, they made a bunch of NFL cards in the late 1970s, but they also made some cards that were not NBA or MLB or NFL cards, but they did make cards that had their own, they were pretty interesting. And in the case of basketball, they did actually make player cards. Again, just not NBA cards. In 1971, they made a card set of the Harlem Globetrotters. Now, the Globetrotters cards were released with Cocoa Puffs, and these were normal size cards with virtually no card design. A white border around the outside for cutting purposes, and then a straightforward portrait of, straightforward isn't the right thing with the Harlem Globetrotters. They had portraits done professionally of all the different players, and each one of these cards has a signature on the front by the player printed onto it, so not hand signed. And then on the card back, it talks a little bit about the player. Now, the card set is 28 cards, so that means you're going to run out of player cards pretty quickly. So players do have multiple cards, but they also have cards that look at routines and fun things about the Harlem Globetrotters because, I mean, that's the whole point of the team. But 28 cards seemed a little bit slim for a card set that's dedicated to the Harlem Globetrotters, so they actually made another set that is a much larger set, 84 cards, so 3 times as long. The cards from the first set are reprinted here in the second set. In this case, they don't have autographs on the front, and the back is basically the same. So the main way that you can tell for those cards that you can't tell with the missing autograph is the fact that on the backs of the cards, they either have the number of 28 or the number of 84. So that's the way that you tell. But it's nice they had a lot more room, so we got to see a lot more images that they added to the story of the Harlem Globetrotters. It's not the only set that they did, though, because they also, in 1973-74, made a card set that was, they did this in all 3 of the sports. They did a football set, a basketball set, and a baseball set, and for basically it's a set that looks at some aspect of the game, kind of an educational guide. And in basketball, it's about shots. It's called The Shots. Each one of these cards is slightly oversized, and it has a cartoon drawn on the front illustrating the shot, and then on the back it talks about, the shot. And what's fun about this card set is looking at some of the different names they have, because they have the hook shot, and they have the stuff, which some people know as the dunk, and they have the tip in, and in some ways it's almost kind of weird that some of these shots have names because they're just kind of moves that you make. But it definitely has a cool 1960s quality here in 1973 and 74. But these came in packs. They didn't come with Cocoa Puffs. They came in packs, and in those packs they had stickers and patches. What's the difference? I'm not entirely sure. They're very similar. All of them are cloth. And so that means that, you have the 2 logos on each card. Each player or each team has a logo and a team name on each of the 2 examples. So there are basically 2 for each team, and then also the NBA has its own sticker as well as a cloth patch. There's nothing on the card back, but like I said, these are cloth, and so there's a texture to the surface of it, which is pretty unusual. It's pretty unique, and it's really cool. I like the way that texture is on this card or sticker, or the stickers and the patches. Now, I've heard that these date all the way back to 1969, because over in football, and they did do a series of these, and I believe that these were released from 69 through 74, and that they happened to also be released with the Shots cards. But I will say that in the Beckett, they say it was just 1974. So I don't know which is the case. If I do find out for sure, then I'll put that in the comments below. But I believe it's for a window of time when these were available. Still, this ended in 1974, and then we didn't have anything for these basketball stickers until 1977. Now, in the mid to late 1970s, the big thing about Fleer making these stickers was the fact that Topps did not want to pay the NFL, MLB, or the NBA for licensing. So, NHL as well. So they forwent that, and that meant that the NFL, the NBA, and the MLB licenses were just sitting there waiting to be taken up. And so Fleer took advantage of that, and they made, in the case of the NFL, actual NFL cards with all the logos. In the case of MLB and for the NBA, they made stickers. Well, they made stickers for football as well, but for basketball and baseball, it was just stickers. And so in 1977-78, this was the first time that we got to see the return of stickers for basketball. And the way that they approached it was different than what they did with the cloth patches, where now they had two portions of the set. The first portion of the set included 14 teams, each one of these slightly shorter than normal card size sticker cards, has a white background around the team logo. Up at the top, they have a color banner, which has, it basically up there, it says that this is an all-pro sticker. That's really all that it's there for. But they have 4 different banners. And so that means that you can get the team in multiple colors. So there's the red, the yellow, the green, and the blue. Those are the 4 colors that are available. And I don't know for sure that every single team was available with each one of the 4 colors. I believe there were a few cases where there was a particular color that didn't align with the team. I haven't run into a checklist that fully defines that yet. I hope that there is one, and if not, I hope that somebody creates one. But every single one of the teams is available with multiple different color banners up at the top. But that was the first portion of the set. The second portion of the set is comprised of 8 teams, and each one of these has a single color all the way around the logo down at the bottom. Up at the top, they have either a team or the NBA logo in a whole different sticker. And each one of these teams has 3 different colors. There's red, there's yellow, and there's blue. And so in the case of all 8 of these teams, there are 3 versions of each. There are 24 of these total. Each team, the 3 different versions, still have the same team or NBA logo up at the top. But between the 8 different cards, you do have a couple of different teams and NBA logos that show up throughout the 8 cards of the set. But I do have to note that these are blank backed. The sticker back is blank, which is important because when we move on to 1978, they did absolutely everything the same. They have the exact same, I don't know that they have the same color alignments, but they have the exact same 14 teams at the front end of the set with the white borders around them, with the different color banners up at the top. And for the additional 8, you have the 3 different colors, and they have the exact same team alignments above them on their stickers. So every single sticker front is the same in 1978 as it was in 1977. The difference is that in 78, they decided to take the sticker back, which is just the cardboard that the sticker is attached to, and print on the back a piece of a puzzle. Now, when you assemble all 30 of those pieces, you actually put together a picture of a basketball game. Specifically, you put together a picture of one of the games of the finals, which was between the Washington Bullets and the Seattle Supersonics. This is a 30 card puzzle, and if you're trying to put it together and you have some missing pieces, you can look on here and see basically what the puzzle piece is like that you're missing, which is, the reason I wanted to do this. And a significant note about the puzzle pieces is the fact that it's not one-to-one to the stickers on the front. The stickers on the front, the backing is, there's not a direct relationship where all 30 of these puzzle pieces align with the stickers on the front. So that means the stickers on the front can have different puzzle pieces, but it's not like all 30 show up on these stickers. There's a specific number of puzzle pieces that align with the stickers. So if you have one particular team, you're only going to have a certain number of puzzle pieces that could be a part of it, which means if you're one of those collectors who really gets out in the weeds, like I'm totally not, this one will take you a while. And I don't know that anybody's ever put a checklist together of this, but I really hope that somebody has, so that there is an understanding of exactly the full number of options that there are between this. And this is going to apply moving forward. And that was 1978. So again, the difference between 77 and 78 is only the fact that the 78 cards have a puzzle on the back and the 77 cards are blank backed. But 1979, things start to get a bit interesting because they changed the front of the cards slightly. Now, once again, they have the same 14 teams up the front of the card set, and these 14 teams still have the white border around the logo, but up at the top, you'll notice that they replaced the color band with a black band, which has the team name and the stats for the season. So now this card is basically working as a team card for each one of the teams, but it means there's only one version of each one of these sticker fronts. Now, as far as the second group of teams, the 8 at the end, those are done exactly the same way, where each of the teams has each one of the 3 colors. So there's still the red, the yellow, and there's the blue for each team. Up at the top, they all have the same the same black box with the team name and stats on each one. So that means that for this set, there's only 14 cards in the first portion, or 14 stickers in the first portion, and there are 24 stickers in the second portion, which means it's a 38 sticker set for this set, whereas it's much larger for the previous year. Now, the puzzle pieces for the 1979-80 puzzle is it's regarding the championship between the Washington Bullets and the Seattle Supersonics. Not a lot has been changing, except the image is very different, because the image is actually a game between the Washington Bullets and the Golden State Warriors, so it was presumably a regular season game. And it even has a little tag down at the bottom right corner, which specifies that it's a Washington Bullets Golden State Warriors game, so it's not from the finals. Why they did that, I don't know, but for 1979, kind of interesting. Now for 1980, we have literally exactly the same set for the sticker fronts. They still have the 14 at the first portion, and they have the 8 teams for 24 total in the second section. And then the only difference is that up at the top, instead of referring to the 79 season, they refer to the 1980 season, and that's the second part of the season, not the first portion. So it's technically the 1979-80 season, and these cards are 80-81 is the year of the release. Now the puzzle on the back is interesting because in this case, this is the championship between the LA Lakers and the Philadelphia 76ers. Now the reason that that's interesting isn't anything other than the fact that, well, this game happened to feature a rookie by the name of Magic Johnson. And I believe that this is the particular puzzle piece that includes him in it. I'm pretty sure it might be the one right next to it, but I'm pretty sure that this is the one that includes it, which means that this would technically be from his rookie season. So while it's not an official rookie card, it's basically an XRC. It's a fun little feature of this set if you wanted to get a Magic Johnson rookie card and you didn't really have the ability to do it. This kind of fits for that. At least certainly the whole puzzle would fit for that, because he's somewhere on the puzzle, that is for sure. But in 1980, they did something really unusual for basketball, but not entirely unusual for Fleer, which is that they did not only release puzzle pieces, they also released cartoons. So for some of the sticker backs, they have cartoons which recreate, or not recreate, but they represent games with some record feat on it. And these are interesting little cartoons between two teams. Not every team is featured on one of these cartoons because the cartoons are looking at record-breaking games or milestone games, either one. That's really what they're looking at. But that means that for the stickers on the front, they can feature either a puzzle piece on the back or one of these cartoons, either way. So in 1981, they did their last Fleer sticker sets. And in this case, obviously the front of the card is done exactly the same way. There's no difference except it's the 1980-81 season, which is referred to as the 81 season. It's the back that you can already tell is pretty different because for the puzzle for 1981, the Boston Celtics won the championship and they were so excited they changed everything about the puzzle. Now it's a vertically oriented puzzle, which really is unfortunate for us because it means that I have to shrink this down so that it fits in, so you can't really see as well the puzzle pieces. You pretty much can, but they didn't even mention who the Boston Celtics beat. They didn't care to. This is a very distinct puzzle between all four of these, but I do want to give you the ability to at least see what the different puzzles, the way to tell the different puzzles apart, even though you're going to be able to tell in the front. So the 1978 puzzle has a red border with a blue inner border. 79 has a blue outer border with a red inner border. 1980 has, also a blue outer border with a red inner border, but now they doubled the size of the outer border and shrunk down the size of the inner border. And then, of course, in 1981, it's a green border because of the Celtics. So that's the way to tell the difference. But a quick recap in terms of just knowing which ones is which. 1974 are the cloth stickers and patches, and that you can tell not just by the age, but the surface, which is cloth-esque. And then in 1977, you have cards that do not have the black band. They have different color bands up at the top or stickers at the top, but the 1977 version has nothing on the back. 1978, identical, but it has a puzzle on the back. 1979 has the year 1979 on the cards. 80-81 has the year 80 on the top of the cards. 81-82 has the year 1981 on the top. And that's the way that you can tell the difference between them. So, for the 1970s stickers, and obviously into the 1980s, this is what Fleer did across the entire expanse. This is that gap between the 1961 set and the 1986 set. And I think I've explained it well enough that you can keep track with all of it. In fact, I probably over-explained it, but at any rate, that's what they did here with these stickers. I will get around to doing football and baseball at some point. Baseball is going to be a lot of work. But I have already talked about all the rest of the Fleer sets. So if you haven't had a chance to check those out, please do so. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I do urge you to do so, and thank you very much for watching.